ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्. We'll begin chapter 3 today. Just give me a few minutes.
Dr. Brahmana, I don't have chapter 3. So, I mean, I actually logged in, but I was trying to look for Prasanna Trayam. I wasn't sure.
No, I emailed chapter 3 yesterday, last
Oh,
night.
you did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let me look it up and share. So we are starting from yesterday, then I should have it. 1 second. Let's see. Yeah, I see it. Okay. Chapter 3. Okay, you can see chapter 3 now. Okay. Right. The topic of chapter 3, the topic of karma. In the previous chapter, beginning at verse 55, Lord Krishna pointed out that a wise person, a sthita prajna, is one who gives up all desires, being happy with oneself in oneself. This is the ultimate human end and is what is meant by moksha, liberation or freedom. So you can all hear me, right? Okay.
Yes, we can.
Okay, good. Thanks. I'll read it again. In the previous chapter, the topic of karma. In the previous chapter, beginning at verse 55, Lord Krishna pointed out that a wise person, a sthita prajna, is one who gives up all desires, being happy with oneself in oneself. This is the ultimate human end and is what is meant by moksha, liberation or freedom. Giving up desires implies giving up all activities also. An activity is pursued because there is a desire to accomplish a given end. If there is no desire to accomplish a given end, there is no pursuit. Arjuna wanted Shreyas, liberation, and understood that in order to gain it, knowledge alone was required and karma was of no use. Krishna explained all this when Arjuna asked him to describe Sthita Prajna. Before that, Krishna talked about the nature of the Atma being free from any limitation. Then he asked Arjuna to listen to what he had to say about Karma Yoga. He said, Yogetu imam Shrunu. During this discussion, Krishna asked Arjuna to perform action. So during this discussion, Krishna asked Arjuna to perform action, remaining rooted in Karma Yoga. Yogastha Kuru Karmani. Gita, chapter 2, 48 verse. This mandate confused Arjuna. Should I continue to do karma or should I pursue knowledge? He wondered. If I pursue knowledge, I will definitely gain moksha. Whereas if I perform karma, I will be bound by karma pala. Even karma yoga is not adequate for moksha. How then am I to gain moksha if I perform action? So that's a question for Arjuna. How then am I to gain moksha if I perform action? Arjuna had made it very clear to Krishna early in the second chapter that he wanted moksha. He told Krishna in so many words, I am your student. Please teach me so that I will gain Shreyas, moksha. Arjuna naturally expected Krishna to tell him exactly what would give him moksha. Krishna pointed out that knowledge would give him moksha, thereby implying that all karma was to be renounced in order to pursue knowledge. Why then was Krishna advising him to do karma? Having said that knowledge would give Arjuna moksha, Krishna had then said, Get up and fight. What did this mean? Did Krishna think that Arjuna was unfit for moksha, or did he think that karma yoga would also result in moksha? Arjuna wanted to know what Krishna's contention really was. The situation was like a man going to a doctor, being told that he had diabetes, and being advised to start and end each day with the sweet rolls and pastries. Such a prescription would result only in a quick death and is not at all befitting the man's condition. Here, Arjuna wanted moksha, absolute freedom. The karma was prescribed for him. Okay, here Arjuna wanted moksha, absolute freedom, and karma was prescribed for him. He knew that the karmas enjoined by the Veda were strictly for achieving results within samsara, a life of limitation, and that they would not deliver him from samsara. Krishna himself had said to Arjuna, May you not get involved with any karma unfolded in the Veda. Arjuna was therefore confused by all these conflicting statements. Since moksha was said to be purely in the form of knowledge, he concluded uh, May you not get involved with any karma unfolded in the Veda. Arjuna was therefore confused by all these conflicting statements. Since moksha was said to be purely in the form of knowledge, he concluded that he should go for knowledge. And if he was to pursue knowledge, why do karma? This was why Arjuna wanted to become a renunciate, a monk, and renounce all activities so that he could dedicate his life to the pursuit of knowledge. So I'll read last few lines, okay? Arjuna was therefore confused by all these conflicting statements. Since moksha was said to be purely in the form of knowledge, he concluded that he should go for knowledge. But he was to pursue and if he was to pursue knowledge, why do karma? This was why Arjuna wanted to become renunciate, a monk, and renounce all activities so that he could dedicate his life to the pursuit of knowledge. Giving up everything, may you go after this knowledge. Sannyas Sannyasasya no, Sannyasasya Shravanam Kuryat was a popular statement. Sannyasasya Sannyasasya Shravanam Kuryat was a popular statement. The sannyasis Arjuna had seen had all given up everything to pursue knowledge. He therefore thought that if he was interested in moksha, he should do the same. This is the case for anything one wants in life. If money is what you are interested in, you must give up a lot of things and go after money. Or if you want power, you should go after it to the exclusion of all else, spending whatever money is necessary to get it. If you cannot expect to retain your money and at the same time gain power, no election was ever won that way. No election was ever won that way. Hmm. However, after gaining power, whether you are able to regain the money is a different issue. Arjuna therefore thought, if I want knowledge, it is only reasonable that I should give up karma, action. For a person to pursue knowledge in a dedicated fashion, giving up everything is not an unreasonable requirement. This is why a life of renunciation, sannyasa, loomed so large in Arjuna's mind and was all he wanted. In his eyes, sannyasa seemed to be the only destination and was the right thing to do. But Krishna had said, having decided to fight, please get up and fight. Tasmat uttishta Tasmad uttishta kaunteya daya krita nishchayaha. That Gita verse, just 2 chapter 37 verse. Knowledge alone is adequate for moksha. Knowledge alone is adequate for moksha. Arjuna's confusion was based on his incorrect understanding of renunciation. Krishna seems to have dismissed the pursuit of karma for good by not allowing it to be considered in the pursuit of moksha. Therefore, sannyasa had to be the answer. At the same time, however, Krishna had praised karma. This apparent contradiction caused Arjuna to ask, what exactly should I do? He did not think of pursuing both karma and moksha because nowhere in the second chapter did Krishna mention combining them. Knowledge, jnana, is adequate for moksha. Moksha does not depend on any karma because it is not something that is created. Being the very nature of the Atma, being the very nature of the Atma, moksha is already accomplished. The self is already liberated, already free, and needs only to be recognized as such. Therefore, knowledge alone is adequate for moksha. And after knowledge, karma is also not required because the person is happy with himself or herself as he or she is. What karma is to be done then, and for what purpose? What is sannyasa, for example, is not a doubt. It is purely a question asking for a definition. But when Arjuna asked which was better, sannyasa or karma yoga, he was expressing a doubt. Here in the beginning of the third chapter, he raised a doubt. Arjuna uvacha jayasi chet karmanaste atha buddhirjanardana tad kim karmani gore mam niyojayasi keshava. Arjuna uvacha said, asked, Arjuna asked, Janardana, O Janardana, karmanaha, than action. Karmanaha is than action. Buddhihi, knowledge. joyous, joyously better. Te mata, te mata sat. If it is your contention, te mata sat. If it is your contention.
Te mata chet.
Chet, okay. Te mata chet. If it is your contention, tat, then, gore karmani, in the gruesome action. Gore karmani is in the gruesome action. Mom, me, kim niyojayasi. Niyojayasi. Okay, kim niyojayasi. Why do you impel? Why do you impel? Keshava, O Keshava. So Arjunaha uvacha Janardana karmanaha buddhihi jayasi te mata set tat gore karmani mam kim niyojayasi Keshava. Arjuna said, if, O Janardana, your contention is that knowledge is better than action, why do you impel me into this gruesome action, O Keshava? Arjuna addressed Lord Krishna here as Janardana, the name for the Lord, a name for the Lord, which means one who upholds the law of karma by giving the fruits of wrong action to the performer of the action. So, how appropriately he addressed, say the name. Okay. Wrong karma results in pain, dukkha, either immediately or later. I'll read this one more time, this paragraph. Arjuna addressed Lord Krishna here as Janardana, a name for the Lord, which means one who upholds the law of karma by giving the fruits of wrong action to the performer of the action. Wrong karma results in pain, dukkha, either immediately or later. Krishna's contention, as Arjuna saw it, was that the pursuit of knowledge and knowledge are better than or superior to action, karma. The action being referred to here was no ordinary action, such as performing a ritual or cooking. It was terrible, gruesome action involving bloodshed and the destruction of many people. Therefore, Arjuna asked Krishna, why do you engage me in this terrible action? If with reference to moksha, knowledge is superior, if knowledge alone is going to give me moksha, why are you asking me to do karma? In Arjuna's understanding, Krishna was asking him to act, but at the same time, he was appraising knowledge and its pursuit. Krishna seemed to be saying that knowledge liberates, but at the same time, he was asking Arjuna to do karma, and terrible karma at that. Arjuna wanted to be a sannyasi, and Krishna seemed to be pushing him into the what happened? Into my perception is that I have not understood what I have thought because you seem to praise knowledge. This is the same page. Let me see. Yeah. Okay, got it. 292, 93. One second. Where did the he says This means Arjuna did not think Krishna was confusing him. We have a problem with this. Oh, 1 second. The battery is getting down. I don't know why it's coming to this. Mm-hmm. Mm. Okay. So we were reading, and for what purpose, right? Knowledge alone is adequate for moksha. Mm. Okay. This is page number 390, right? Next one. I read so far. Mm-hmm. Okay, here we are. Okay. So Krishna seemed to be pushing him into the ring to fight. He had not even signed a contract with him. He had asked only that Krishna be his driver, not his agent who would arrange fighting matches for him. Okay, so there it is. Sorry, I probably pushed a couple of pages ahead. So, Arjuna's question, why are you asking me to perform this terrible action, extends into the next verse as well. So, the first verse is about the question that he had so far. Lord Krishna was explaining knowledge gives in moksha, as he asked in his first question, show him the prayas, shreyas. So, if he is saying that knowledge is good for him to get the liberation from this samsara, why is ask him to do this terrible action? So he had the doubt. Should we do the Manana at the end after the reading this verse also? Okay. This is the second verse. Ya Mishreneva, okay. Ya Mishreneva Vakyena Buddhim Mogaya Shiva me Tadekam Vada Nishchitya Yena Shrayo Hamapniyam Hamapniyam. Okay.
या
Ya
मिश्रेणेव वाक्येन बुद्धिं मोहयसीव मे तदेकं वद निश्चित्य येन श्रेयोऽहमाप्नुयाम्.
Thank you. Vyamistrena, self-contradictory. Vyamistrena, self-contradictory. Vakyena, with words. Iva, seemingly. May, my. Buddhim, mind. Mohayashiva, you appear to confuse. Mohayashiva, you appear to confuse. Yena, by which. Aham, I. Shreyaha, liberation. Moksha, yeah, liberation, moksha. Ap, apniyam, ap, yeah, apniyam shall gain. Tat, that. Ekam, one. Nichitya, nichitya, having decided. You having decided. Vada, tell. Vada, sorry, not vada. Vada, tell. Vyamishrena, vakyena me, mohayasi iva, yena, aham shreyaha, apniyam tat ekam nichitya vada. With words that are seemingly contradictory, you appear to be confusing my mind. With the words that are seemingly contradictory, you appear to be confusing my mind. Having decided which is better, tell me the one thing by which I shall gain liberation. So he wants only one thing. Arjuna did not say that Krishna's words were self-contradictory. Yeah. Arjuna did not say that Krishna's words were self-contradictory, but that they were seemingly contradictory. In Arjuna's understanding, there was contradiction, but even knowing this, he did not say to Krishna, "You confuse me with the self-contradictory words," which would have been an accusation. Here, given an indication, here we are given an indication of how one should talk in such situations. When Arjuna said, by words which are seemingly contradictory, "You seem to be confusing me," he meant that, in fact, Krishna's intention was to confuse him. We know that there is often accusation involved in a dialogue between two people. If your perception is that a person did this or that to you, you may say, "You did this to me. You did this to me." The person then becomes defensive and will not accept your statement. You then feel that your feelings are invalidated, that you are not understood. The other person also feels that he or she is accused and not understood at all. In other words, there is not only no communication but also miscommunication. Here, Arjuna's use of the word "iva" as though reveals an important principle in communication. Never evoke the defensive person in the one with whom you are communicating. So here, let's read the last line. In other words, there is not only no communication but also miscommunication. Here, Arjuna's use of the word "iva" as though reveals an important principle in communication. Never evoke the defensive person in the one with whom you are communicating. Okay, the one with whom you are communicating. So, very nice points that they are giving, as though seemingly the words you use. Arjuna was not accusing Krishna of confusing him. This must be underlined here. Arjuna was not accusing Krishna of confusing him, nor did he say that his words were contradictory. Instead, he said that Krishna's words seem to be contradicting, okay, Krishna's words seem to be contradicting themselves, and therefore Krishna seemed to confuse him. This means that Arjuna did not think that Krishna was confusing him, only that this was how he perceived it. He says, "My perception is that I have not understood what you have taught because you seem to praise knowledge." Again, I'll read this line. "My perception is that I have not understood what you have taught because you seem to praise knowledge." Moksha is not produced by karma. So far clear, right? Moksha is not produced by karma. For a wise person, all the karmas and their results that are mentioned in the Veda are like a well that has been completely flooded over by water. You know that line Udapane, right? This one. For a wise person, all the karmas and their results that are mentioned in the Veda are like a well that has been completely flooded over by water. Of what use is the well water when there is water everywhere? You need not search for the well. When the river is dry, the well water is useful. But when the river is overflowing and the well is underneath it, you are not going to go looking for the well because it is not going to be of any use to you. Similarly, for the person who knows himself or herself to be full, free from limitation, of what use is an object of security and happiness except for its empirical value? Empirical value. This was how Krishna had praised the wise person. By praising the wise, wisdom is praised. By praising the wise, wisdom is praised. Krishna had praised wisdom in this way, had made it very clear that knowledge was quite adequate for moksha. So knowledge was quite adequate for moksha. So Arjuna told Krishna that he was confused by being asked to perform action. Arjuna's confusion was based on his conclusion that either karma or knowledge should be able to take him to Shreyas. Karma action is something that can be produced, something that is born out of one's will, whereas moksha cannot be produced. Four types of results can be produced by karma. Something can be created by you, something that has already been created can be modified or destroyed by you. Something can be cleansed or purified by you, and a place that is already there can be reached. Whether actions are worldly or religious, they can only produce one of these four types of results. So, I'll read this paragraph one more time. Karma action is something that can be produced, something that is born out of one's will, whereas moksha cannot be produced. Four types of results can be produced by karma. So, how many results? Four types of results of karma produced by karma. One is something can be created by you. Second one, something that has already been created can be modified or destroyed by you. The third is something can be cleansed or purified by you. Something can cleansed or purified by you. And the place that is already there can be reached. Whether actions are worldly or religious, they can only produce one of these four types of results. Here, however, we are talking about moksha, which cannot be produced. If it could be produced, you would be lost also. If, for example, moksha could be achieved by purifying the Atma, it would take no time at all for the Atma to become impure again. You would have to scrub it every day. So, nor can the Atma be reached because Atma is myself. It is not something I have to reach because it is not away from myself. Therefore, reaching it is impossible. Modification of Atma is also not moksha. What can be modified is subject to time. So, moksha gained will be lost. Also, in order for the Atma to be subject to modification, it would have to be an object, sorry, it would have to be an object or sorry, object objectifiable by me. But because the Atma is myself, it cannot be an object in my hands. Therefore, it is not something that I can modify. The self is already accomplished, and moksha is already moksha is identical with it. Okay, so I'm going to read these two paragraphs one more time before we move on. Here, however, we are talking about moksha which cannot be produced. If it could be produced, you would be lost also. If, for example, moksha could be achieved by purifying the Atma, it would take no time at all for the Atma to become impure again. You have to scrub it every day. Nor can the Atma be reached because Atma is myself. It is not something I have to reach because it is not away from myself. Therefore, reaching it is impossible. Modification of Atma is also not moksha. What can be modified is subject to time. So moksha gained will be lost. Also, in order for the Atma to be subject to modification, it would have to be an object objectifiable by me. And because of the Atma is myself, it cannot be an object in my hands. Therefore, it is not something that I can modify. The self is already accomplished and moksha is identical with it. But Krishna was asking Arjuna to do karma. Therefore, Arjuna asked him to settle on one or the other, either the knowledge or karma. If it was to be karma, he wanted to know why. We read this part. So if it was to be karma, he wanted to know why. This page is 393, next to be 394. The nature of knowledge. The knowledge is not something that is produced and is therefore different from knowledge is not something that is produced and is therefore different from karma. Knowledge is knowing things as they are. To know that an unclean object is unclean and or that a clean object is clean is knowledge, jnana. To know the to know an untruth as untruth or a truth as truth is also jnana. To know the real Satya as Satya is Jnana, and to know the unreal Mithya as Mithya is also Jnana. Because knowledge is true as the object, it is not dependent upon your will. I cannot decide that this is how knowledge should be. I can only see the object as it is, nor can knowledge be modified by my will. The will can set you up to pursue knowledge, but it cannot interfere in the perception of an object. This being the case, jnana and karma are two entirely different things. Arjuna wanted Krishna to tell him whether knowledge or karma would liberate him. Tell me whether I will gain shreyas by karma or by knowledge. Tell me which one will do it. Do not tell me that knowledge is all right and karma is also all right, and that I can go this way or that way. Suppose you go to one teacher who tells you that you should perform karma, then you decide to go to another teacher for a second opinion, just as you might if a doctor you have consulted recommends surgery. The second teacher may say, what karma? You should do yoga. Yet another teacher might say, you must pursue knowledge. It is to be expected that you go, if you go to three different teachers, each one may give you different set of instructions. You then have to find out for yourself which of the three is proper, which teacher is right. There may be a fourth person who is right. It is also understandable when that the same teacher may give different advice to different students. One student may ask, should I marry or not? And be told that he or she should marry. Another student may be told not to marry because he or she does not know how to take care of himself or herself. The person is already a dukhi and risks making another person a dukhi also by marrying prematurely. Thus, a teacher may advise his or her students differently. So, this is about the nature of knowledge. Uh, I think we have two more pages. Should I leave some time for Manana, Dr. Brahmra, rather than reading this or finishing this? Or should I another
Yeah, I
page?
think we can do Manana.
Okay. So far, we read about first two verses under introduction of the karma, the topic of karma, karma yoga. So, um, it's nicely given the second sloka that about what the difference between this karma and your what types of results given by the doing karma, and same thing done for the knowledge. The the karma can be gives so like four types of results, right? One is uh, well,
Creating something that was not there.
yeah,
And
so
then
it
second
create.
is modifying something that is already created.
Mhm. So it is something to be produced, right? Like whatever the
Mm.
karma is, something like done by your will and that is produced. Whereas the knowledge is not like that. Like it's not produced by you or by will. It is what is the truth. If the truth is truth and not truth is untruth is untruth, like that. So as she said, the creates the four types of results. That four type of result is created by you. One is created by you, or if you already created, that is modified by you, and then or you it is uh, whatever is created that you have to purify or modify it, or you're reaching for it. So these are four different results.
Can
But
you
then,
read the third and fourth? Is not very clear.
yeah, it is not very clear actually. They just said that, uh, where is that thing? Akshay is praised by karma. Yeah. Four types of results can be produced by karma. Something can be created by you. One is that something that has already been created can be modified or destroyed by you. Yeah, that is another thing. Destroyed by you. And then something can be cleansed or purified by you. So that is the one, Dr. Pramana, that is the karma there. And the fourth one is a place that is already there can be reached. That is the fourth one. Looks like something can be cleansed or purified by you, and a place that is already there can be reached. Whether actions are worldly or religious, they can only produce one of these four types of results. So I don't know about that place thing. I didn't understand that much well here. Maybe it be described somewhere else in the following
No,
thing.
I think it is only with respect to the place, like from point A to point B is what you can
Oh,
do.
oh yeah, yeah,
That
okay.
requires karma.
Karma, right.
You have to move from one place to the other.
True. Yeah.
I mean, if you literally take that, probably there's an implied meaning as well.
Yeah,
But
that they
whereas
exactly. So even that's how they describe, like, where jnana cannot be reached. It's you cannot. You don't have to. Sorry, you have to do objectify yours to reach outside of you, right? So yeah, moksha or atma is not something
something to
objectified.
be reached, yeah,
Yeah,
something to be reached.
yeah.
It is
It
not
is.
other than you.
Yeah, it's yourself. So it's so that's what that was. So that they how they are contradicting between the karma and the moksha. The jnana. And so here he giving that, and then what Arjuna got stuck with, what gives Shreyas to him, that is his question. So initially, how to communicate with people, especially somebody um, like older than you, or somebody teaching, or very nicely said, right? Like, you don't even for otherwise, yeah, to communicate, you don't accuse them, oh, you didn't tell me correctly or something like that, right? Instead, he's saying, seemingly, or as though those two words are so clearly making itself, my perception, I perceived what you about what you said is not clearly understood by me. So that how he puts it. So that's also another point on this particular words. I know I'm not going in order, but it just came to my head uh, that about that. So the nature of the knowledge also we read, and the knowledge is how it 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 is what it is, right? You don't twist and turn anything. It's all whatever it is, you accept it. That's the knowledge. Meaning the truth is truth, untruth is untruth. Like the same thing, real versus unreal. Whatever, that's the knowledge. Flower, like a flower is a flower only. It cannot be fruit, or it cannot be a vegetable or something else, right? So leaf is leaf. So that is the knowledge. So that cannot be changed. That cannot be modified. The flower cannot be modified to. become a fruit or something. I mean, it will become fruit eventually, but like human is human, animal is animal, like that kind of knowledge. So that's the part we read so far. And then they're talking about the teacher. Um, you go about asking different opinions, that basically getting different answers for different. Uh, so that maybe you get confused, or you have to figure it out yourself which one is the right answer. But then as a guru, they teach, they give, depending on the student, they give different suggestions what they're supposed to do. So please share and, and or anything need to be repeated, let me know also. Mm.
Arjuna heard directly from Bhagwan Krishna, and the seemingly contradictory verses that goaded him to do karma while he was praising knowledge. Unfortunately, Arjuna did not have a Shankara Bhashya to go to or Swami Dayananda's Gita home study. This is on a lighter note, because here we are able to, the whole explanation of every verse is being expounded. What is the importance of karma? Why is what is jnana? What is the role of jnana and what is the role of karma? So the third aspect of karma, that is cleansing and purifying, is what is required. That is why Arjuna was asked to do his karma. So as long as there is that impurity in the mind, in order to cleanse that, karma is required to neutralize the raga dveshas. Krishna was going in a flow, and Arjuna understood whatever he understood. And then he had doubts coming up, and rightly so. Because all said and done, Bhagavad Gita has a lot of contradictions. The very second chapter itself. So on one side, Krishna was of course praising knowledge and saying it's only through knowledge that moksha is gained, self-knowledge. And on the other hand, he was goading Krishna. He was goading Arjuna to get up and fight. So of course
And
that left Arjuna with a big question in his mind.
also, you thought whether you get it through the karma versus jnana, right? And then He said Narana only gets to the moksha. Then he thought, why don't I become a sannyasi, give up all the activities, all that kind of um, thoughts rolling down in his head. Then instead, why he is asking me to do the get up and go fight? That's a valid doubt that he get. Yeah. So everyone, please share. We have a few more minutes, and I know I missed few classes on the second chapter, and Dr. Brahmana reviewed all that summary also yesterday. I listened to the tape halfway, but finally I get to go to the temple and volunteer also yesterday and today. My granddaughter danced for Aridra Darshan, another temple, so 2 days in a row I went to the temple. And Radha Shabdami today. Thank you. Yeah, please say one point. I know sometimes, uh, or if you have anything to be repeated, also let me know. Mhm.
And if not for Arjuna's question, we would have not had the rest of the chapters in the Bhagavad Gita. It would have concluded with Esha Brahmi Stitif Partha Nainam Prapya Vimuhyati
Mhm.
Stitva Syamanta Kalepi Brahma Nirvana Muhyati. So that would have been the last verse of the Bhagavad Gita, second chapter. It would have ended. But thank God for Arjuna's doubts and questions.
Mm.
We can conclude here.
Okay. लोका समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ तत्सत् श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम जय गुरुदेव shall I put the meditation tape
Are you able to put it?
usually go back to the previous video and try to get it.
No, don't worry. I'll share it.
Okay, that'd be nice. Thanks.
Meditation is accepting this moment, living every moment totally with depth. Let us keep our spine erect and body relaxed and eyes closed. Relax your shoulders. Keep a big smile on your face. You're sitting like the statue of Buddha, very serene and with a serene smile on your face. Relax your body. Let's take a deep breath in and breathe out. Become aware of your chest region, throat and chest region. If you notice some tension in the body, just let it be. Except those parts of the body where you feel a tension, the other parts are in comfort. Other parts are at peace. Become aware of that also. There are many good things about you and inside of you. Acknowledge them. They will never leave you. And the negative aspect you may see in you is never going to stay with you forever. They are all guests for some time. Let them be. Sit with the total acceptance of yourself the way you are at this very moment. Total acceptance of what is now here will lead us to deeper meditation. Let go of all the effort. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let go of all your effort and be in this emptiness. And slowly and gradually become aware of body and surroundings. And you may gently open your eyes.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.